happened during a regular lunch break. I was catching up with my friend Anna at a cozy bistro downtown. We both ordered the same dish: grilled salmon, roasted veggies, and a small side of creamy pasta. Nothing out of the ordinary. As we started eating, I noticed Anna doing something a bit different. She wasn't diving straight into the pasta like I was. Instead, she calmly picked at the roasted veggies first, then moved on to the salmon. The pasta, she left it for last. I couldn't help but ask, "Why do you eat like that?" She smiled and said casually, "It helps keep my energy stable for the rest of the day. It's just a habit I picked up from some nutrition research." Turns out, the order you eat your food actually matters. That one comment stuck with me. Later that night, curiosity got the better of me. I started digging into the science behind it, and what I found genuinely surprised me. Study after study showed that something as simple as eating veggies before carbs could make a big difference in things like blood sugar, energy, and even weight. So I decided to test it myself, and let's just say it changed the way I eat forever. That's what inspired this video, and actually this whole series. Eat in the right order for better health. If you're looking for practical, science-backed tips to feel better without giving up your favorite foods, you're in the right place. In this episode, we'll explore the science behind food order, the ideal sequence to follow, real-life applications and meal examples, how it impacts your blood sugar, energy, and mood, tips to start applying this habit today. Let's unlock the power of eating right one bite at a time. Part 1, the hidden science of food order. Let me take you back to a moment not so long ago. I was standing in line at my favorite brunch spot, waiting for my usual avocado toast, scrambled eggs, and a side of fresh fruit. I'd eaten that combo 100 times before, but that day, something different happened. Just behind me, two women were chatting about how they were trying to hack their meals to avoid the post-meal crash. One of them said, "You've got to eat your veggies first. It's a glucose game changer." Glucose game changer, that phrase stuck with me. Later that evening, curiosity got the best of me, and I fell into a rabbit hole of nutrition research. And what I found made me rethink something I'd never questioned before: the order in which we eat our food. You see, nutrition isn't just about what we eat, it's also about how we eat it. The sequence matters more than most people realize. Let's break it down gently. When you eat carbohydrates like bread, rice, pasta, or even fruit first, they're broken down quickly into glucose sugar, which enters your bloodstream almost immediately. This causes a sharp spike in your blood sugar levels. Your body responds by releasing insulin to manage the sugar. Over time, if you keep spiking your blood sugar like this, your body starts to lose its sensitivity to insulin. That's when fatigue, weight gain, and eventually more serious issues like type 2 diabetes can creep in. And this is the exciting part: if you shift the order, even just a little bit, the impact can be dramatic. Imagine starting your meal with a few bites of leafy greens or roasted broccoli. These fiber-rich vegetables coat your digestive system and slow down the breakdown of carbs that come later. If you then follow up with some protein, say a piece of grilled chicken or tofu, you're layering in foods that slow digestion even more. By the time you get to the carbs, your body is in a much better state to handle them gently. It's like giving your body a soft landing instead of a crash, and it's not just theoretical. A groundbreaking study published in Diabetes Care in 2015 looked at this exact phenomenon. Researchers had participants eat the same meal on 2 different occasions, but in reverse order. On one day, they started with carbs. On the other, they started with veggies and protein. The result, when the veggies and protein came first, post-meal blood glucose levels were 29% lower and insulin levels were 43% lower. Let that sink in. The same food, different order. Completely different physiological response. That's when it hit me. We don't have to give up the foods we love, we just need to be more thoughtful about how we enjoy them. Another study, published in BMJ Open Diabetes Research and Care, reinforced this idea. It found that food order can significantly impact glycemic control, particularly in people with type 2 diabetes. Eating vegetables before carbohydrates consistently improved blood sugar levels compared to eating carbs first. And the beauty is it's so doable. This isn't about going keto or paleo or counting every gram. It's about starting your meal with a side salad, some steamed greens, or even a few sticks of cucumber. It's about choosing to eat your protein before diving into the bread basket. Tiny adjustments, big difference. It's like giving your metabolism a little nudge in the right direction without making your life harder. When I first started trying this out, I didn't expect much. But within a week, I noticed something. I wasn't crashing mid-afternoon like before. I wasn't ravenous an hour after eating. I felt more steady, more clear-headed. And maybe most importantly, I wasn't giving up my favorite meals. Food order became a gentle rhythm in my day. And now, when someone asks me for the simplest thing they can do to feel better without giving up the foods they enjoy, I share this trick. Eat your veggies first, then your protein. Save the carbs for last. It's simple, it's backed by science, and it just might change the way you feel after every meal. So next time you sit down to eat, pause, take a moment. Think about what you're putting on your fork and in what order. You don't need to be perfect, just be intentional, because sometimes the smallest changes lead to the biggest shifts in health and life. Part 2, the ideal food sequence and why it actually works. Now that we understand why the order of what we eat matters, let's talk about the actual steps what to eat first, second, and last. It's surprisingly simple and yet incredibly powerful. The ideal sequence is 1. Vegetables first, 2. Protein and healthy fats next, 3. Carbohydrates last. That's it, 3 steps. But let's walk through them together, like we're planning a real meal. Start with veggies. Not just because they're healthy, but because they're full of fiber. Think of fiber as the gentle gatekeeper. It slows down digestion, wraps around sugar molecules, and softens the blood sugar response that happens when you eventually eat your carbs. Imagine a small plate of sautéed spinach, roasted zucchini, or a handful of cherry tomatoes with olive oil and lemon. You're not just eating greens, you're laying the foundation for the rest of the meal. Then comes the protein and healthy fat. Maybe it's a grilled chicken breast, a piece of salmon, tofu stir-fried with sesame oil, or a boiled egg with avocado. These foods don't spike your blood sugar, and they also help trigger satiety hormones that tell your body, hey, we're getting full. Protein and fat also slow gastric emptying. That's a fancy way of saying they help food stay in your stomach a little longer, giving your body more time to digest and absorb nutrients gradually. And finally, the carbs. Yes, carbs are still on the plate. You don't have to eliminate them. In fact, carbs give you energy, support your brain, and bring joy to your meals. The key is saving them for last. Rice, potatoes, bread, pasta, even fruit or dessert can be enjoyed more safely and with less of a blood sugar spike if you've already eaten your veggies and protein. I used to eat bread while waiting for my main dish at restaurants. Now I ask for the salad first, or just sip on water until the greens arrive. That small shift makes a world of difference. Dr. Robert Lustig, a well-known pediatric endocrinologist, once said that how your body responds to food isn't just about the food, it's about the context in which you eat it, and the order is part of that context. Here's another fun fact. In Japan, there's actually a term for this practice, veg first, and it's being taught in schools as part of diabetes prevention programs. Kids are learning to eat their salad or vegetables before touching their rice. It's a public health movement, and it works. When I started following this simple order, it felt odd at first. But after a few meals, it became second nature. And honestly, it made eating feel more intentional, more mindful, like I was finally working with my body, not against it. So next time you're plating your meal or even ordering takeout, remember, it's not just what's on your plate, it's the order you eat it in. Start with fiber. Layer on protein and healthy fats. Save the carbs for last. It's one of the simplest health changes you can make and one of the most sustainable. Let your plate tell a better story. one bite at a time. Part 3, real-life meal examples, how it looks on your plate. By now, you might be thinking, okay, this all makes sense in theory, but what does it look like in real life? That's the question I kept asking myself when I first started learning about eating in the right order. It's one thing to understand the science, and another to apply it while juggling a busy life, kids, late dinners, or even just cravings for comfort food. So let's make this practical. Let's walk through how the ideal food sequence works with meals you might already be eating or at least recognize. The goal isn't to make your meals perfect. It's to make them a little more intentional, one bite at a time. Let's start with breakfast. 1. Classic American breakfast. Think of a typical breakfast: orange juice, toast, eggs, maybe bacon. Most people start by sipping their juice while waiting for their food, then dive into the toast. But here's a new way to try it. Start with the eggs and bacon. The protein and fat help slow digestion. Then the toast. You can even add a little avocado for bonus fiber. Last, the juice if you even want it. Personally, I've found water or herbal tea feels better and avoids that sugar spike. Even this simple switch makes a difference. When I began eating eggs first instead of toast, I noticed I stayed fuller longer and didn't crave snacks before lunch. 2. Lunch on the go. Let's say you grab a sandwich and chips from a deli. Typical order: chips while walking or driving, then the sandwich. Here's how to flip it. Pack a small container of raw veggies, baby carrots, cherry tomatoes, or cucumber slices. Eat the veggies first, then enjoy your sandwich. Save the chips for later if you're still hungry, or skip them altogether. You're not giving anything up, you're just sequencing differently. Some days, I pack a simple veggie jar in my bag. It's a little habit that's made my lunches more balanced without adding any stress. 3. Pasta night at home. Pasta, warm, comforting, familiar. I used to eat garlic bread while waiting for the spaghetti to finish boiling. Sound familiar? Here's a new way. Start with a salad, something simple like spinach, cucumbers, and lemon dressing. Then serve your protein: meatballs, grilled chicken, shrimp, or tofu. Finally, add your pasta. Maybe try a smaller portion, topped with veggies and olive oil. When you eat pasta this way, it doesn't hit your bloodstream like a freight train. It's more like a slow wave, gentle and easy. And that post-dinner fog, it might just disappear. For dining out burger edition, let's talk about burgers and fries. I used to eat a few fries as soon as they hit the table. Who doesn't? But here's a simple reframe. Start with a side salad if you can. Or munch the lettuce and tomato from your burger first, then eat the burger patty. Leave the bun and fries for last, or eat a smaller portion. Even if you don't do this perfectly, every little change helps. One night out, I ate half the fries instead of the full portion after finishing my veggies and protein, and I didn't feel the usual heavy crash afterward. 5. Bowl meals and takeout. You know those trendy bowl meals like Chipotle or poke bowls? They're great, but they usually mix everything together: rice, beans, meats, veggies. Try this: eat the lettuce or greens first. Then focus on the protein: chicken, steak, tofu, whatever you've got. Save the rice or tortilla chips for last. Just changing the order in which you use your fork can change how your body responds. 6. Sweet endings. Yes, you can have dessert. And what about sweets? Here's the good news: you don't have to swear off dessert. Just treat it like the last course, not the main event. If you've had a fiber and protein-rich meal beforehand, dessert won't spike your blood sugar as much. It becomes more of a treat and less of a trigger. I still enjoy dark chocolate after dinner, but now I savor it after my greens and protein, not before, and I actually enjoy it more. Final thoughts: when you start thinking in terms of order, not restriction, food becomes a partner, not a problem. You can still eat what you love. You can still go out with friends. You can still order pizza or indulge in pancakes. Just be mindful of the sequence. The power is in the little moments: grabbing a veggie before a slice of pizza, eating your protein before the bread basket, Savoring dessert after your body is ready for it. It's not about being perfect. It's about being thoughtful, and those thoughtful moments, they add up one bite at a time. Part 4. What actually changes blood sugar, energy, and mood? If you've ever felt sleepy after lunch or struggled with sugar cravings in the afternoon, you're not alone. I used to think it was just a part of adult life: eat, work, crash, repeat. But once I started paying attention to the order I ate my food, those crashes started to fade. And it wasn't just in my head, there's real science behind it. Let's talk about what actually changes in your body when you start eating your meals in the right order. 1. Flatter blood sugar curves. Imagine your blood sugar throughout the day as a line on a graph. If you eat carbs on an empty stomach, that line spikes sharply, then drops quickly. It's a roller coaster, and your energy, mood, and focus follow that same ride. But when you eat fiber, protein, and fat before carbs, the glucose curve flattens out. No steep spike, no dramatic crash. That means fewer energy dips, less brain fog, more stable mood. One study published in Diabetes Care showed that eating veggies and protein before carbs resulted in 29% lower post-meal glucose and 43% lower insulin response. That's huge, and the best part, these results came from eating the same exact foods, just in a different order. I remember trying this out with a bowl of rice and chicken stir-fry. Normally, I dig into the rice first. But one night, I started with the broccoli and chicken, saved the rice for last, and felt steady and satisfied for hours afterward. It felt like magic, but it was just biology. 2. Improved insulin sensitivity. When you reduce blood sugar spikes, your body doesn't need to pump out as much insulin. Over time, this helps improve your insulin sensitivity, basically how well your body uses insulin to manage sugar. This is a big deal. Poor insulin sensitivity is one of the root causes of weight gain, fatigue, and chronic conditions like type 2 diabetes. Think of it like this: the more stable your blood sugar is, the more your body can breathe. It's not constantly working overtime to clean up sugar from your bloodstream. Your system gets a break, and you feel the difference. 3. Natural appetite control. Have you ever noticed that the more sugar or white carbs you eat, the more you crave? There's a reason. Those quick digesting carbs cause your blood sugar to spike and then crash. And when it crashes, your body screams, "Give me more." But when you eat in the right order, your body digests food more slowly. You stay full longer. You don't need to snack as much between meals. One surprising shift I noticed? I stopped needing that 3 p.m. pick-me-up snack. My body wasn't begging for it anymore. When you feel full and balanced, you naturally make better food choices without willpower. For a more stable mood, this one might surprise you. When your blood sugar crashes, your mood tends to go with it. You might feel irritable, anxious, or even a little depressed. It's not just in your head, it's in your hormones. Stable blood sugar means fewer mood swings, better focus and patience, more emotional resilience throughout the day. I've had days where I didn't even realize how much food order mattered until I felt unusually calm during a stressful afternoon. That's when it hit me. I'd eaten in the right sequence that day. It was like giving my brain the support it needed to stay steady. 5. Real-life glucose tracking. More and more people are using continuous glucose monitors, CGMs, to understand how their body reacts to food. And guess what? One of the most consistent discoveries is how much food order affects the glucose curve. I once saw a chart from a health coach who tracked the same meal: grilled chicken, salad, and bread eaten into different orders. The difference in the glucose spike was nearly 75%. Same meal, same ingredients, just a different order. That's the power of food sequencing. Final thought: when you start eating in the right order, the change is subtle but powerful. It's not about perfection, it's not about restriction. It's about partnering with your body instead of working against it. And the best part, you'll feel it in your energy, in your cravings, in your calm. It might not happen overnight, but give it a week. Eat your veggies first, add your protein. Save the carbs for last, and just notice. Because sometimes the quietest shifts bring the loudest results. Part 5. Small shifts, big results tips to start today. Let's be honest, changing eating habits can feel overwhelming. New diets, counting calories, cutting out entire food groups, it's enough to make anyone quit before they begin. But this is different. This isn't about restriction, it's about rhythm. You don't need a new meal plan. You don't need to throw out your pantry. You just need a new approach to your plate, so let's make it real. Here are some gentle, practical ways to start eating in the right order without turning your life upside down. 1. The 3-minute rule before you take your first bite of anything with carbs. Pause. Ask yourself, can I eat a few bites of veggies or protein first? Just 3 minutes of eating fiber or protein before carbs can change how your body processes that entire meal. Some of my go-to pre-carb bites: a few cherry tomatoes, a boiled egg, a handful of leafy greens with olive oil, a slice of avocado with lemon. No pressure to finish a whole salad, just give your body a head start. Create a first bite habit. We all have food routines. Whether it's reaching for bread before a meal or sipping on a sweet drink while cooking, those habits are deeply ingrained. The key is to shift your first bite habit. Try this. Start your dinner with a few cooked vegetables. At restaurants, order a veggie appetizer or side salad. At home, keep cut up cucumbers or bell peppers in the fridge. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. And over time, your new first bite will feel just as automatic as the old one. 3. Build your plate with layers. When you're serving a meal, especially one with carbs, try layering your plate in the right sequence. Think of it like this: bottom layer, fiber veggies; middle layer, protein and fat; top layer, carbs. If you're making a rice bowl, layer lettuce, then chicken or tofu, and top with rice. Not only does it look beautiful, it helps your digestion too. 4. Adjust one meal first. Trying to overhaul every meal all at once? That's too much. Trust me, I've been there. Instead, pick one meal to adjust this week. I started with lunch. I'd eat my side salad first, then the main course. That tiny shift felt manageable and made a big difference in how I felt in the afternoon. Once that felt easy, I added breakfast. Then dinner. Change happens best in layers. 5. Stack your habits. Want to make this stick? Pair your food sequencing with a habit you already do. For example, while waiting for your coffee to brew, prep your veggie starter. While setting the table, place a salad fork and small plate on top. While your pasta is cooking, snack on some crunchy carrots instead of chips. Stacking habits makes change easier and more likely to last. 6. Plan for real life. This isn't about being perfect. Life is messy. Sometimes you'll eat dessert first or scarf down fries before the salad arrives, and that's okay. Here's what I do when dining out: ask for the salad to come first. At parties, head for the veggie tray before the snacks. Busy days, keep a protein bar or veggie snack in your bag. Give yourself permission to be flexible. It's the overall pattern that matters most. 7. Celebrate the wins you can't see yet. The first time you eat in the right order, you might not feel a dramatic change. But something is happening. Your pancreas is working a little less hard. Your insulin levels aren't spiking as high. Your cravings might soften bit by bit. And over weeks, those little shifts add up. It's like compound interest for your health. The payoff grows over time. Final thought: let it be gentle. You don't have to change who you are to feel better. You just need to support the body you already have with a little more care, a little more attention, and a lot more kindness. Eating in the right order isn't a diet. It's a love note to your metabolism, a daily act of support. So take the pressure off. Start small. Start where you are. Because the best health habits, they don't shout. They whisper, and this one, it's whispering, try me first. Part 6, Beyond the Plate, a new way to care for your body. By now, we've explored the science, the meal ideas, and the tips to start small. But let's zoom out for a moment, because this isn't just about eating. It's about caring. How we eat reflects how we live. And when we start to approach our meals with more mindfulness, we begin to see ripple effects in other parts of our lives. 1. Food is self-respect. Most of us have spent years thinking about food as something to control, counting, avoiding, measuring. But what if food could become something else entirely? What if eating in the right order was less about rules and more about respect? Respect for your energy, respect for your body's rhythms, respect for how you feel before and after you eat. One of the most unexpected benefits of food sequencing, for me, was emotional. I began to eat slower. I began to notice how food made me feel, not just in my stomach, but in my whole self. And that awareness, it changed everything. 2. Preventing problems before they start. Eating in the right order is more than a trick to feel better after meals. It's a way to support your body's long-term health. Chronic illnesses like diabetes, heart disease, and metabolic syndrome don't show up overnight. They build slowly, tiny habits, repeated over years. But so does healing. When you consistently reduce glucose spikes, you lower the burden on your pancreas, your blood vessels, and your brain. You're giving your future self a better shot at energy, mobility, and independence. Think of every vegetable first bite as a quiet vote for your long-term health. 3. Reclaiming your power. In a world full of confusing nutrition advice, food sequencing is refreshingly simple. You don't need a PhD. You don't need to buy a bunch of supplements. You don't even need to change what you eat, just how you eat it. That's powerful. So often, health advice can feel overwhelming or shame-inducing. But this practice does the opposite. It's empowering. You get to choose. You get to show up for your body. You get to make a small, quiet shift that no one else can even see, but that you can feel. For a ripple effect of care, here's the beautiful thing. When we care for ourselves gently, we tend to care for others more gently too. You might notice that eating in the right order makes you more patient with your kids, more focused at work, more grounded during hard moments. And when your energy feels steady, it becomes easier to show up fully for your goals, your relationships, and your joy. This isn't just about glucose, it's about creating a life with fewer highs and lows and more moments of presence. 5. You're already on your way. If you've read this far, you're not starting from scratch. You've already taken the most important step, curiosity. That quiet voice inside you that says, I wonder if I could feel better, that's your guide. And you've already begun. So whether you've tried food sequencing once or you're about to try it for the first time, know this, you're doing something kind, something wise, something that builds with time. There's no race, no competition, just your rhythm, your pace, your plate. Final reflection, eating in the right order isn't about control. It's about care. It's about learning to listen to your body's needs before the crash, before the cravings, before the overwhelm. It's about choosing to show up not just with a fork and knife, but with awareness, patience, and compassion. So tonight, when you sit down for dinner, pause for a moment. Start with the grains, breathe, savor. Let your meal unfold like a gentle story. And know that with each bite, you're writing a new one where you feel steady, supported, and strong. Because you deserve that every single day. Part 6, Beyond the Plate, a new way to care for your body. By now, we've explored the science, the meal ideas, and the tips to start small. But let's zoom out for a moment, because this isn't just about eating. It's about caring. How we eat reflects how we live. And when we start to approach our meals with more mindfulness, we begin to see ripple effects in other parts of our lives. 1. Food is self-respect. Most of us have spent years thinking about food as something to control, counting, avoiding, measuring. But what if food could become something else entirely? What if eating in the right order was less about rules and more about respect? Respect for your energy, respect for your body's rhythms, respect for how you feel before and after you eat. One of the most unexpected benefits of food sequencing, for me, was emotional. I began to eat slower. I began to notice how food made me feel, not just in my stomach, but in my whole self. And that awareness, it changed everything. 2. Preventing problems before they start. Eating in the right order is more than a trick to feel better after meals. It's a way to support your body's long-term health. Chronic illnesses like diabetes, heart disease, and metabolic syndrome don't show up overnight. They build slowly, tiny habits, repeated over years, but so does healing. 3. Reclaiming your power. In a world full of confusing nutrition advice, food sequencing is refreshingly simple. You don't need a PhD. You don't need to buy a bunch of supplements. You don't even need to change what you eat, just how you eat it. That's powerful. So often, health advice can feel overwhelming or shame-inducing. But this practice does the opposite. It's empowering. You get to choose. You get to show up for your body. You get to make a small, quiet shift that no one else can even see but that you can feel. For a ripple effect of care, here's the beautiful thing. When we care for ourselves gently, we tend to care for others more gently too. You might notice that eating in the right order makes you more patient with your kids, more focused at work, more grounded during hard moments. And when your energy feels steady, it becomes easier to show up fully for your goals, your relationships, and your joy. This isn't just about glucose, it's about creating a life with fewer highs and lows and more moments of presence. 5. You're already on your way. If you've read this far, you're not starting from scratch. You've already taken the most important step, curiosity. That quiet voice inside you that says, I wonder if I could feel better, that's your guide. And you've already begun, so whether you've tried food sequencing once or you're about to try it for the first time, know this, you're doing something kind. Something wise, something that builds with time. There's no race, no competition, just your rhythm, your pace, your plate. Final reflection and what's next. Eating in the right order isn't about control, it's about care. It's about learning to listen to your body's needs before the crash, before the cravings, before the overwhelm. It's about choosing to show up not just with a fork and knife, but with awareness, patience, and compassion. So tonight, when you sit down for dinner, pause for a moment. Start with the greens, breathe, savor. Let your meal unfold like a gentle story. And know that with each bite, you're writing a new one where you feel steady, supported, and strong. Because you deserve that every single day. Episode wrap-up. In this episode, we've explored how a simple shift in food order can stabilize your blood sugar, support weight and mood regulation, reduce long-term health risks, and most importantly, bring more presence and care to how you eat. If you found value in this video, consider subscribing to our channel Total Health and Life, where we bring you thoughtful, science-backed content to support your journey to better health one small habit at a time. We're building a community here of curious, compassionate people who want to eat, live, and feel better, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. If you're ready to take the next step, our journey continues in episode 2, where we'll break down what to eat first, second, and last with real examples. We'll show you how to build meals in real time using foods you already love in a way that supports your body and your lifestyle. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next episode.